Welcome to Arcades, the Strategist. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, I love it. It's got some really good stuff in the hand. We have Panharmonicon, 3 visits. We do have a Scry off Temple of Plenty, so we can get that going. And then we also do have a Salt Formation, which kind of act as a nice little wall bonus when you get that last mana activation. And then I know I already released Arcades on this past Friday, but I don't know, I was just trying to figure out what I want to record for my Monday video, and I was like, hey, let's go for Arcades again. Why not? Let's have some fun. So let's get the Scry going. Congregation at Dawn. Is that something that we want? We'll have 3 visits. Yeah, let's go and put that on top. That'll probably help out in this particular matchup. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We are playing Arcades, the Strategist. Flying and Vigilance. Whenever a creature defender enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Then each creature you control defender assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power and can attack as though it did not have defender. And I will cover Atraxa here in just a second. Let's go and get down Flooded Strand. Let's go and crack that. Go and probably grab a blue source off of that one. Tundra? I think that sounds good. Yeah. Let's go and grab Tundra. Let's go for 3 visits. Have that land come into play tapped. No, excuse me. Have that land come into play untapped. And then we'll go and grab Tropical. Actually, let's go ahead and pop this out just a little bit. We'll go and grab Breeding Pool off this one. Not going to pay 2 life. Nope. And then anything else, we'll kick the turn back over to our opponent. Playing against Atraxa, Praetors Voice. Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Then at the beginning of your in-step, Proliferate. So we'll see what we happen to be playing against, whatever the sort of build of Atraxa is. And then we'll be online for Kodama's Reach. We'll get the land drop down, hopefully get down Panharmonicon, and then start to cash in some really, really good card draw. Now, our opponent only does have 3 cards in the hand, so hopefully we'll be able to, ooh, look at that Aura Shard. I'll put in some work. Do we need to start going for that? Either way, they're going to be looking at Atraxa, so yeah, let's go for Kodama's Reach. I like getting these lands going on the battlefield. Let's go and grab Plains at this point. We'll probably go and grab another 4 since that Congregation at Dawn is double green off of that. Let's go and put 4 on the battlefield. Plains into our hand. Let's go and get the Plains down for the turn, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. I love that they got down all these mana rocks, but we're able to at least kind of keep online with 3 visits and Kodama's Reach, so we're kind of in the same boat. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, typically I don't do this. If I do a new Friday release, I always have a new video for that Monday. But I don't know, just want to keep playing Arcades. It's a lot of fun to get that going, get those defenders going, and then have some fun from that. Now, we do have Wall of Denial. We'll be able to get that down to at least kind of stop Atraxa. At this point, I'm thinking of Traxos. I just got done playing a artifact-based deck earlier that you might see on Friday. So I hope you're excited about that. In fact, I played just got done with like a 45-minute game. Whew. That was a little brutal. So if I'm a little loopy in this video or something like that one, yeah, I just got done recording a 45-minute game, which you will be seeing on Friday. So. And then I will just leave it at that. All right, so drawn to Tropical Island. Yeah, we don't have any protection for Arcades, but I really like getting Arcades down at this point right now. So let's go and tap out for Arcades. That's going to be green, white, and then blue. And then we'll go and tap out for one more Temple of Plenty. We'll go and get down Tropical Island. Let's see if our opponent wants to be gracious enough to get... Oh, they do not. Okay, that's fine. We'll go and get down Tropical Island. And then I guess at this point, we'll just still go and get down Assault Formation. Yeah, that's fine. We could buff a counterspell, but at this point right now, we'll go and get down Assault Formation and kind of go from there. Anything else, we'll kick it back over there. Now, as far as next turn goes, hopefully, fingers crossed, we do hit the land drop. That'll allow us to get that land down, allow us to get down Panharmonicon and go for Wall of Denial, which is going to give us double card draw off of Arcades. We'll keep our fingers crossed that Arcades does stick onto the battlefield. This is definitely one of those decks where it is a commander-centric deck. If you didn't happen to see my release on Friday, is that we need Arcades on the battlefield to start cashing in a lot of card draw. Now, we do have Sidar in our hand, which definitely does help us. It's going to make sure that our creatures our opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less. So long story short, it's almost going to act as Tetsuko in a way. It's going to allow our creatures to start swinging past our opponent. And especially when you got stuff like Wall of Denial out there, you know, we will be racing Atraxa. I keep wanting to call it Atraxos. We will be racing Atraxa, swinging across for 4. They'll get that lifelink going, but hopefully with the 0-8 on the battlefield, we'll be able to kind of push past on this one. But let's see what our opponent's going to get out for the turn. Okay, and our opponent, they actually lost connection for a second, so they're back in it now. But yeah, so once we get down Panharmonicon, we can... our internet took a blank. So, hey, glad they're back. So we'll see what they roll out for the turn. More than likely, we'll see Atraxa swing across for 4, and then we'll be good to go. But yeah, we're actually in a pretty good spot. If we can get that mana going, we'll get down Panharmonicon. That's going to give us double Aura Shard triggers whenever those creatures enter the battlefield, and give us double card draw triggers, which is just going to be absolutely wonderful, which I'll definitely take that in a heartbeat. But let's see what they're going to be tapping out for. Okay, the opponent's going to go for Walking Ballista for 3, which is not the worst. That will put it on there to where they can start pinging our opponent. Not pinging our opponents, so they can start to ping Arcades once they get that Proliferate trigger, which will be more than enough off of that. Let's see if they end up going for that one. That's going to make them completely get rid of Walking Ballista. But like I mentioned earlier, once we get this down, this Aura Shards, we'll be able to kind of start to go for that. We'll see if they end up going for it in response to something hitting the battlefield. Let's go and get down Savannah. And let's go ahead and tap out for Panharmonicon. I think I like that. Let's tap out for Panharmonicon. That way we can at least go for Wall of Denial. If they want to take care of Arcades, they can. We'll at least go ahead and cash in that card draw, and then next turn we can not really necessarily have to worry about Walking Ballista. Maybe they'll kind of dump the rest of it out there. All right, we'll get that extra card draw going. I'll take that. That's exactly what we need. Okay, drawn to Rapid, and we also drawn to Teferi's Protection. Okay, anything else, let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, once we do get down Aura Shards the next turn, we definitely need to have some sort of defender to get down to kind of take advantage of that Aura Shard, or at least some sort of creature. At this point right now, we can still go and get down Sidar and take care of Aura Shards, kind of taking care of some of these artifacts on our opponent's side of the board. We'll probably end up having to force the issue with Walking Ballista, but it looks like our opponent's at least going to leave it up at this point right now to kind of leave that damage up. Now, with Wall of Denial does have Shroud, so unfortunately I think with with the Assault Formation, we're not going to be able to target it with the Assault Formation. We can still use that second ability. Creatures you control get +0/+1 until end of turn, so if we want to worry about a Walking Ballista next turn or something like that with Arcades, we definitely can, but we'll still at least go ahead and chump block with Wall Denial on Walking Ballista to kind of stop that combat damage from coming across. So it's going to be 4 in the air. That will put us down to 21, and that will be 8 total commander damage that our opponent has dealt to us. Okay, opponent's going to go for Walking Ballista. Looks like they will take care of Arcades, so we'll go and let them kind of cycle through that real quick. Okay, and that will take care of Arcades. And actually, I guess technically if our opponent wanted to, they could have waited until the end of turn to get that Proliferate trigger on there and then have more than enough counters, or at least leave 1 counter on it to keep it on the battlefield. But we'll see exactly what we can go for. We do have Teferi's Protection in the hand, so until next turn we can at least kind of fog our board state out. That'll save us another Atraxa swing in from our opponent and give us a little bit of time to kind of set up this Aura Shards. But I think I really do like going Aura Shards into Sidar, kind of taking care of some of these artifacts. If we can keep our opponent off any sort of mana, I think that'd be pretty good on this one. All right, let's see what we draw into. And we also have Rapid, too, to go for. Ooh, drawn to Gate Creeper. That's wonderful. We'll be able to make the land drop. Okay, let's go and tap out for Aura Shards, and then we'll leave up that 4 mana. And with us going for a Gate Creeper Vine, that'll still keep us online for Rapid, too, which is really good. Let's go and tap out for Gate Creeper. And opponent's going to go for Abrupt Decay in response to that. Yeah, that's fine. We'll at least end up with double triggers off Gate Creeper Vine. That way we can get those lands into our hand. Yeah, we can survive out from underneath that Aura Shards. And that's going to leave 3 cards in our opponent's hand. Yes, we're going to use that ability. Let's go and grab a Plains off of this one. And then we'll grab an additional... Yes, we're going to use that ability. Let's go and grab... we'll grab Island. That way it goes into our hand. Let's go and get Island down for the turn. Do we want to do anything? We can go for Rapid on Atraxa. So it's going to be them tapping out again next turn. And they have 2 mana up at this point right now. Is that what we're going to go for? And that's the good thing about Rapid in this particular deck is that, I think I like going for that one. It's going to keep them off. It's going to make them, basically, I want to chew up their turn to see if maybe they have to recast Atraxa next turn or something like that. And we'll do a little bit of a counterspell check. And we'll see if they want to put those +1 counters onto that Frog Lizard. We have Wall of Denial out on the battlefield. That's why Rapid or Pongify is so good in a deck like this, is you have so many different little wall creatures or defender creatures that giving them a 3/3 is typically not the end of the world. Sometimes you do get into these games to where if you do Rapid one of your opponent's creatures and they get that 3/3 beast token onto the battlefield, you can start putting some pretty good combat damage with that and then kind of go from there. But let's get Arcades pop back up. But next turn we'll definitely be tapping out for Arcades. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that'll still give us just enough mana to leave up to Teferi's Protection. Or if we want to go for something like Congregation at Dawn, we can kind of set that up. Let's see if our opponent's going to be Ugin. Okay. Kind of wish we had left up to Fairy's Protection at this point right now. We'll still have Panharmonicon on the battlefield, and if they get rid of all this stuff right here, it's not the end of the world that this would happen. So they're going to take care of Wall of Denial, Gate Creeper, Assault Formation. Yeah, that's fine. Go for it. Okay. And that'll put us online for Arcades next turn. It'll also make them kind of go for that -X, where we can maybe go for Teferi's Protection in response to that to kind of keep them on the battlefield. Let's go and tap out for Arcades. This is going to be blue, double white, green, and a tap out for one more. All right. See if they want to go for that grab trigger off Lano War. No, probably not, but you never know. And so we'll get down to Arcades, and if they do end up going for that -X off of Ugin, we'll have Teferi's Protection to kind of hopefully have a little bit more of a one-sided board wipe. Anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. And the more decks that I keep playing with Teferi's Protection, the more and more I just fall in love with that card. It's just such a nice effect, especially if your opponent's going for like a board wipe or something like that. It's just it just always feels good getting to cast that for 3 total mana. But yeah, as far as Arcades goes, I haven't had a chance to update it yet. I did see some really good suggestions. Somebody did suggest that I get a little bit more card draw in here, which I definitely agree with. And so it was just one of those, trying to figure out when I want to record, and I was like, why not? Let's have some fun with some more Arcades. But if you didn't see the series, I definitely check it out. It was, I don't know, you just get a lot of games where you get Arcades down, and you start casting a lot of these Walt's Palace Jeller. Okay. So let's see, since that's on the stack, let's go and go for Teferi's Protection in response to that. Yeah, because what's going to happen is if we wait for that to enter the battlefield, we can get that trigger on the stack or something, but we'll just go and fog our stuff out. Now, what we can do with Congregation at Dawn is we can go for that during our upkeep. Look how cool that is when it fogs out. We can go for Congregation at Dawn during our upkeep, and that allows us to kind of put together a few more defenders onto the battlefield. The only downside is we're looking at Ugin's pretty much going to be able to clean up whatever we're going to get going off of that. But with Panharmonicon, that's going to be double the card draw. So maybe we can kind of draw into something that'll help us get out from underneath Ugin. All right, and our opponent's going to get that Monarch, draw an additional card, and let's see what we draw into. Now, with Ugin, we actually flying in Vigilance. We can actually take care of swinging across on Ugin, and then we can set it up with I meant to go for Congregation at Dawn during our upkeep, but that's Angelic Wall is a really good draw for that one. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and push in with Arcades. That's going to knock Ugin down to 3, kind of basically going to cut them off of any sort of mass board wipe or mass exile effect with Ugin. So let's go and swing it at Ugin. It's going to be 3/5 coming across, and then we'll go ahead and go for Angelic Wall. And what we can do is we can go for Congregation at Dawn to kind of set that one up to really start drawing through our deck on this one. So, in fact, let's go and do that now. Let's go and get down Yavimaya Coast. Let's go for Congregation at Dawn. That's going to be double green and then 1 white mana. And what we can do, we do have Shield Sphere in here, which is a 0 converted mana cost wall, and we can put that on top and draw into that for sure. So let's go and grab the combo off this one. I think I like that. Let's go and grab Axebane Guardian. Let's go and grab... We're not going to get these down just yet. We want to hold on to them so we can take advantage of it. Maybe we can draw into Crossroads somehow. So we're going to grab Axebane Guardian. Let's go and grab Wall of Kelp. And let's go and grab that Shield Sphere. So we'll put that Shield Sphere on top. That's going to allow us to draw into both of those, and then whatever else we can draw into. Let's go Wall of Kelp, Axebane Guardian, and then we'll put Shield Sphere on top. So let's go for Angelic Wall. It's going to be 1/2. It's going to be double card draw, so we'll be able to draw into both of those cards. And you can definitely see how good Congregation at Dawn is in a deck like this, especially when you kind of set up the top part of your library. All right. So we're going to double card draw for this. Let's go and cast Shield Sphere. And we draw into Catacombs. Now, at this point right now, if we get down Axebane Guardian and Wall of Kelp, that's going to force our opponent to go for that -3 ability, which is going to keep our creatures on the battlefield. Is that what we want to do? Let's do this. So let's say that let's go and get down Wall of Kelp, because what's going to happen is next turn we can get that Defender down and really start drawing through some cards. We'll still be able to hold on to Axebane Guardian, but at least it'll kind of force them to maybe go for -2 off Ugin, or deal some damage or something like that. Yeah, I think I like getting down Wall of Kelp, because if we get down Axebane Guardian, it makes them super easy just to go for that -3 and exile everything. So at least at this point right now, we'll still have Axebane Guardian to cast next turn for Arcades. All right, draw into Overgrown Battlement. And you know what? Let's just go and hold on. Well, actually, if we get that down, that would be the combo. And then we can go for Axebane Guardian next turn. Yeah, let's do that. Let's tap out for that because, well, that's going to force them to go for the Ugin activation off wall. Yeah, let's make it to where it's not that enticing. I don't. We want to make it to where it's a little bit questionable. Maybe they might go for that +2. Basically, with Wall of Kelp and then oh, also we need to have intruder alarm. So yeah, it's not going to work even if we just dump everything out there right now. So I got ahead of myself. But yeah, the way the combo works with Wall of Kelp and Axebane Guardian is we need to have intruder alarm on the or you can go for Wrath of God. Okay. Yeah, it's going to get it. All right, it's going to take care of Arcades. We'll see what they're going to go for off of Ugin. They go for that +2 ability, which is definitely going to complicate us getting down Arcades, unfortunately. But at least we can still kind of bounce back with stuff like Axebane Guardian and Overgrown Battlement. And also, oh, I was about to say, one of the good things about getting around Ugin is if we're going to have a colorless artifact on the battlefield, we can get around that exile effect. But our opponent's going to have Reclamation Sage, which is definitely going to take care of Panharmonicon. So there we go. All right. Let's see what we can get going. We'll probably still, because Arcades been in the command zone twice, it's going to be 6, it's going to be 8. Let's see what we draw into. Ooh, draw into Crossroads. Okay, a little late to the party. This is going to be 1, 2. Let's double check what Arcades is going to be. It's going to be 8 total mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get down Crossroads. There's nothing we can get down for 2. At least we're still going to be able to keep Ugin in check. Now, we will give our opponent haste off of this, which is not something I'm super thrilled about. But at this point right now, we've got to do it. So let's go and get down Catacombs. Let's go and go for Arcades. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Then tap out for 4. And tap out for 1 more. All right, tap out for Temple of Plenty. We're going to get the graft on there. And actually, we can still go and get down Overgrown Battlement, too. So hopefully, we might be able to deal with Ugin off of this one. Let's go and grab Forest. Let's have Overgrown Battlement enter the battlefield. And they'll just give us at least a little bit of additional card draw. And we'll at least force Reclamation Sage to chump block on this one. Let's go and swing in with Arcades at Ugin. And we'll swing in Overgrown Battlement and Ugin. This is what makes the deck so much fun, is you get to swing in with Overgrown Battlement. 0-4 with haste off Crossroads. So, all right, so we're going to see Reclamation Sage chump block right there. That's going to knock Ugin all the way down to 2, which is going to get rid of Crossroads if they go for that -X ability and Overgrown Battlement. But it won't be the end of the world if that happens. And then next turn, we're looking at Axebane Guardian, or let's say our opponent gets some pretty good stuff out there. We can go for Slaughter the Strong. That won't take care of Atraxa, unfortunately, because they can get, Toxic for 5. Okay, it's going to take care of it. All right. Going to send Arcades back to the command zone. So that was 4, 6, 8. So now we're looking at 10 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's the only downside to a deck like this, is that we need Arcades on the battlefield really bad. So it's one of those, if your opponent has some answers sometimes, it's a little hard to kind of get stuff growing, or at least going for you. Or growing if you're looking at some walls, stuff like that. Opponent's going to tap out for Talisman of Dominance, and let's see if that will be enough for them to get down Atraxa. That will be the last card in their hand, too. So maybe, just maybe, if they go for Graft off Lano Warborn, or Lano War Reborn, 4 or less, that might allow us to go for Slaughter the Strong. So we'll see. Yes, oh yeah, I'll take it. All right, so they're going to get that Proliferate trigger, and then we'll be able to go for Slaughter the Strong, and then we'll probably end up getting down Sidar, and then kind of see what else we can kind of get into. And then we'll be able to plus up on Ugin. Now, the only downside is it's going to go to a 2, but hopefully we can kind of push past on that one. All right, Temple Garden. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and go for Slaughter the Strong. That's going to be double white. Tap out for blue. Total power 4 or less, so that we'll take care of Atraxa, sending her back to the command zone. And then once we get down Axebane Guardian, or excuse me, get down Sidar, that will allow us to hopefully kind of swing in and push past Ugin on this one. Okay, so it's going to take care of Atraxa. Let's go and tap out for Sidar. 1, 2, 3. And one thing that we could do, and it'd be really nice to really get some really good card advantage. Well, actually, if we get down that 3 damage to any target, because either way, we're going to be tapping out for Atraxa, for Arcades. Let's go and get down Axebane Guardian. That way, if we do end up tapping out completely for Arcades, that's either going to force them to go for Ugin on Axebane Guardian, or we can just tap out for Arcades and have a couple different people to swing in at Ugin. Let's go and put Canopy Vista into play, and then anything else. No, let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. And I'm not going to speed up our opponent's turn. I'm going to take a quick little water break real quick. Okay, and our opponent will be tapping out for Atraxa again, and I think they, well, I was taking a drink of water, I think they got down, yeah, Temple of Mystery, so they got that scry going, if you're wondering what kind of popped up on the screen. All right, and they do put a +1 counter on Atraxa. Now, with Sidar on the battlefield, we'll see how they want to sequence this one. Yeah, they will go for Axebane Garden. I was about to say. They'll probably have to take care of that one. That will allow us to at least get down Sidar and kind of swing in on our opponent. With power 2 or less. Yeah, creatures without flying. No, excuse me, Atraxa does have flying. And so they will be able to... yeah, they will be able to chump block on this one, so we have to watch out for that. But let's see what we draw into. We'll probably still end up getting our Arcades down because we need to get them on the battlefield. And we'll still be able to kind of... Well, actually, now with that Proliferate on Ugin, that will... yeah, that'll kind of complicate us just a little bit, but we'll see what we draw into. Maybe we can get lucky and draw into another board wipe. But poor... Ooh. I'll take it. Just like we drew it up. All right, let's go and go for Fail the Mighty. Destroy all creatures with power greater than target creature's power. So that will take care of Atraxa, sending her back to the command zone. Get out of here, Atraxa. All right, destroy all creatures with power greater than target. I just love imagining that Fail the Mighty. Like, imagine that that sunburst coming out from his horse. I love it. All right, so let's go and push in with Sidar on Ugin. That's going to knock Ugin down just a little bit, and then we'll get another check on Arcades commander attacks, but I'm pretty sure we're looking at about 10. Okay, let's get down. Yeah, looking at Arcades, that's going to be 10 total mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's going to be 8 with the land drop. Not going to pay 2 life, and then anything else, we're going to kick the turn to our opponent. Now, at this point right now, we're at turn 11. We don't have a lot of good stuff going for us at this point right now. We're looking at tapping out for Arcades next turn. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That still gives us 3 mana to kind of play around with next turn. So if we happen to get lucky and draw into another wall with Defender or card with Defender, that'll give us an additional card draw. And maybe we can kind of stack some stuff together with Arcades and Sidar on the battlefield. But to be perfectly honest, with our opponent getting down Atraxa, with Ugin breathing down our neck, is a little questionable. But heart of the cards, we've gotten lucky. We've got Slaughter the Strong, and we got Fail the Mighty back to back, and we're getting that commander tax going up on Atraxa. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, but we'll see how this is going to play out. We are sitting at 8 total commander damage, so we need to make sure that we don't lose to random commander damage somehow. But with Ugin being in that -X range of just clearing our entire board out, we'll have to see. We'll see what's going on. So. Okay, let's see what we draw into. Hopefully it's not a land. Drawn Stalwart Shield Bearers. Okay, that's something. So either way, we're kind of in a rough spot. So we've got Ugin staring us down. We're looking at -5, or excuse me, just -4. Clear our entire board out. We get down Stalwart. That's going to allow us to get a little bit of extra something on the battlefield. But if they go for -X, it's going to get rid of Atraxa, but that'll force them to get rid of it on the back end. Yeah, I don't like this line of play a lot, but at least it's going to force them to get rid of their own Atraxa by us going for this line of play. So is it the best line of play that we can go for? No, but at least we're getting some sort of incremental value with Stalwart Shield Bearers entering the battlefield. That's about all we can get off of this one. It's going to tap out for Stalwart, tap out on 1 green. We'll represent that, actually we'll tap out for 1 white mana. Represent Path to Exile or Swords to Plowshare or something with that last remaining white mana. And we'll get an additional card draw going. Let's see what we draw, though. Draw into Vine Trellis, okay. And unfortunately, we don't have the mana for it. Anything else, let's just go and pass the turn. We could swing it with Sidar, but we're looking at 2 blockers. These creatures, yeah, they do have flying. They can block. And then anything else, yeah, we're just going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Keep our fingers crossed. So more than likely, we're going to see Atraxa swing across for 6. That will be putting us down to 8. 14 commander damage, and we might see the Ugin on the back end. But to be perfectly honest, if they're swinging in for 6, if they're swinging in for 1 off Thrumming Bird, well, we can still block with Thrumming Bird on Arcades. But even if they do swing in with 6, that's going to put us down to... We're getting pretty close to Ugin burn range, to where they can just kind of keep plussing up on that 3 ability. So... we'll see how we're going to go. I'm not really thrilled about chump blocking with Arcades at this point right now. We'll see if we can't survive an additional turn and cash in a card draw of Vine Trellis. So, yeah, we're not going to block on this one. We're going to let this go through. It's going to put us down to 8. That'll be 14 total commander damage. It'll actually be lethal next turn with total commander damage once they get that extra +1 counter on there on Atraxa. But let's see how they want to sequence the rest of this turn. Okay, opponent's going to tap out for Contagion Engine. Enters the battlefield, put a -1 counter on each creature target player controls. That's not the worst. We're not really, since luckily we're running a defender deck, we have a lot of toughness on here. So even if they go for the proliferate off a contagion engine, it's not good for us, but we still should at least be able to kind of survive for another turn. The only downside is it does kind of put us into the range of that Ugin burn damage kind of taking care of Arcades, which is not exactly what we're looking for. But we'll see if they end up going for that particular line of play or not. Okay, it's going to take care of poor stalwart shield bearers. And also, if you're thinking about building Arcades, I highly suggest putting this one in your deck. Having a 2-mana defender is always nice. Our opponent will end up going for Arcades on that one. That will take care of Arcades. Let's see what we can get down. We can still tap out for Arcades next turn and get it on the battlefield, chump block on Atraxa. That's going to be us basically just buying a turn, and we won't be able to do much from there. But we'll play to our outs and see what we can kind of draw into, though. All right, so we draw into Polluted Delta. Let's go ahead and get that down. Let's go ahead and go for Arcades. Actually, let's go ahead and crack Polluted Delta. Because either way, if they have an answer, they've got an answer. So we'll go and grab Prairie Stream, because we do have at least those basics on the battlefield. Let's tap out for Arcades. All right, so we'll get down Arcades. We'll go and get down Vine Trellis. Will give us an additional card draw. There's not really much we can do at this point right now. We can still recast Arcades and chump block on Atraxa. Swords of Plowshare aren't okay. Okay, that's going to get it on that one. Get game to our opponent. Definitely enjoyed that. Yeah, for sure. So basically what's going to happen is they Swords of Plowshare on Arcades. We get down Vine Trellis, and they're going to be able to swing in with the Atraxa on this one. But you can definitely kind of see we put the Arcades deck through the ropes. We got really lucky with stuff like Slaughter the Strong and Fell the Mighty, trying to get that commander tax up. I think we might have had a chance if we had gotten Aura Shards down a little bit quicker and kind of taken care of some of these artifacts. That's what really allowed our opponent to really kind of stay in this game. If we really attacked our opponent's artifacts a little bit harder with Panharmonicon, we could have gotten that going, but unfortunately they're able to take care of it with that Abrupt Decay. That was definitely a really good play by our opponent. But if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.